As this system slides east, it's upping our chances to see severe storms this weekend. Before you make plans, I'll walk you through the wettest time periods.
Plus, 200 gallons of diesel fuel leaks onto I-540, shutting down an exit ramp in Raleigh. WRAL's breaking news tracker is live with what's next for the cleanup process. Then from new emergency training to taking legal action against protesters. We'll explain the changes UNC wants to make campus safer. Right now at 7, we are tracking another system bringing showers and storms our way. Here's what we are talking about on the satellite radar. You see that big storm to our west. The unsettled weather really starts to ramp up tomorrow. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Ashley Rowe.
And I'm Dan Haggerty. So this weekend, parts of our area could even see severe weather. Meteorologist Kat Campbell joining us now from the WRL Severe Weather Center with a timeline here. And the chances are increasing a bit, Kat.
They are. Unfortunately, it's not going to look like today. Outside this weekend, a lot more clouds are on the way, especially Saturday and Sunday. But the first half of the day tomorrow actually ends up being a pretty nice day. Just a 40% chance for storms later in the afternoon. Saturday and Sunday, rain chances climb. It's not a washout weekend. It's not going to rain all day long, but there's a high likelihood that we're going to see some waves of rain moving through between Saturday and Sunday. We've got this system that combines with some upper level energy. It's going to draw in a lot of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico ahead of it, and that's what brings our rain chances up for the weekend. There's also the potential for an isolated severe storm Saturday. The level 1 out of 5 risk is for much of the southeast and includes most of our viewing area, including the Triangle. We're not under a severe weather threat for tomorrow, the way it looks now. Through lunchtime, we're likely to be dry. As we get toward 3-4 o'clock, we could see a storm or two popping up, but they're not very widespread tomorrow evening. As we head into tomorrow night, though, there are some signs of more widespread showers and storms, and chances go up to 60% tomorrow night. I'll have a closer look at the high-resolution futurecast for Saturday coming up.
All right, we'll check back in. Thanks, Kat.
We are following breaking news in Raleigh. A massive diesel fuel spill from a tanker truck has closed a ramp off I-540 at Creedmoor Road. Right now, crews are working to clean it up, but we're talking about 200 gallons spilled. WRAL's Willie Danley is at the scene live. Willie, are you getting any updates on when this could reopen?
Not right now, but as you can imagine, you said this is 200 gallons of diesel fuel, so this is going to take quite a while to clean up. You can see right behind me, this is the exit onto Creedmoor Road where crews have this blocked off on 540, and they also have some of this equipment right here behind me. This is what they're going to be using to clean up this mess. Now take a look at this video that I captured here on the ground, and you can see that tractor trailer. According to Raleigh Fire's battalion chief, he told me at some point the line that comes between the two gas tanks on that tractor trailer split, causing that fuel to leak out onto the highway. He did tell me that the driver of that vehicle, or the company who's responsible for that vehicle, is responsible for cleaning up this mess. They had to hire some crews to come out here. They're getting some sand on there right now to get all that fuel soaked up and dried up. And then they also have to come and get the soil in the surrounding area removed to make sure that there's no environmental impact of this. Right now, they are out there. They are cleaning up this mess, but we're still waiting to get word on when this exit is going to reopen. Back to you.
That's a lot of work ahead. Willie Danley live in Raleigh. Thank you.
Active shooter training could soon be required at UNC Chapel Hill. This after a deadly shooting there on campus. The training is one of many recommendations in a newly released action report detailing that August shooting that left a professor dead. WRAL's Carly Haynes is live at UNC. And Carly, you spoke with a security consultant about how training like this would even happen, how it would be implemented.
Well, Dan, he said it needs to be live, in person, and in depth for faculty and staff. UNC only released a summary of this action plan, withholding the full version for safety reasons. But UNC asked an independent agency to look into improvements after that deadly shooting. They came back with several recommendations, including clarifying Alert Carolina messages and issuing them more frequently, upgrading security camera systems, ensuring all classroom and office doors can lock from the inside, and conducting required active shooter training for faculty, staff, and students, like you mentioned. That training could come as soon as next school year. And a security consultant said this is a great plan so long as it's actually put into action.
And this isn't something that you just do in order to check the box off. This is something that you have to do with a high degree and level of training, teaching, and coaching. And it's something that has to be revisited several times a year. You can't do it just one time and check the box and say, okay, we're done.
And UNC said these improvements could take effect anywhere between the next 6 months to 3 years. Dan?
That's kind of a wide range there. All right, Carly Haynes, live for us at UNC. Carly, thank you. So the UNC Board of Trustees met today. Things were peaceful, unlike yesterday when we saw some protesters disrupting the group. It was another in a long series of protests over the past few weeks on campus there, including a confrontation with police after protesters camped out in tents on Polk Place. Interim Chancellor Lee Roberts told the Board of Trustees today they're still combing through the information. They're considering legal action. Roberts also said that some staff in the South Building were harassed and their cars were damaged last week.
To a big development about Poe Hall now. A court has sided with NC State in the latest legal challenge over the contaminated building. A group of judges ruled outside experts cannot enter Poe Hall, at least for now. Earlier this month, a judge told NC State it must allow independent investigators into the building regardless of a pending appeal. Now, a former NC State student battling cancer and his team of experts will have to wait until an appellate court determines whether or not the judge's ruling was flawed. This independent testing delay is a blow to many NC State students and workers who believe the toxic chemicals found in the building in November led to their cancers. Hundreds of childcare employees from all corners of the state were in Raleigh today for a day without childcare, as they called it. The demonstration was to highlight the need for more funding from the state. WRAL's Sean Gallagher shows us how this could impact tens of thousands.
These childcare workers say without funding, nearly 100,000 kids across the state could be without daycare, sending ripple effects that could impact everyone.
I won.
In his NC-A&T football jersey, Ezekiel is years away from taking the field for the Aggies, but his journey is starting at his local daycare.
Do you go in the slides? Yes.
With the end of COVID stabilization grants, more than 1,500 childcare centers in the state face the threat of closing. It has Ezekiel's grandmother concerned about his future.
It's very important for us to have quality childcare. You need a reliable place so you can have your peace of mind.
Hundreds rallied in Raleigh for the day without childcare. In total, 47 childcare facilities shut down for the day. It could put 92,000 kids out of childcare, keeping parents from working.
I would be lost.
And kids from blossoming without necessary early childhood development.
You will see a greater impact.
The group says $300 million will be needed to fill the gap left by the COVID stabilization grants ending. Cassandra Brooks calls it an investment into the future, with little guys like Ezekiel eventually being the ones fueling the economy in the state.
Take it 15 years, those children will not be able to really be employed because they will not be education ready.
It's a heavy burden to her knowing their future is in her hands. But without more funding, she's feeling handcuffed.
I carry this with me all the time. All the time, praying for these children, praying that these legislators do what's right for these kids.
And they say they'll fight until they get what these kids need. Sean Gallagher, WRAL News, Raleigh.
You know, the group estimates nearly a third of all child care centers across the state could close without this funding.
A Raleigh firefighter who's been on the force for about 10 years or so is sitting in jail tonight. So is his wife. This after ALE says that they were selling drugs in downtown Raleigh. Nicholas Bannister and his wife Amanda were in court today. Nicholas has worked for the city since 2013 and is on leave now, administrative leave. In April, investigators launched an investigation into illegal drugs being sold into downtown, and the couple they found in their home, look at this list here: ketamine, cocaine, MDMA, marijuana, mushrooms, meth, Xanax, LSD. They found guns and close to $70,000 in cash. The Bannisters both remain in jail under a $4 million bond each.
Old industrial sites in this part of Raleigh are transforming into breweries, upscale restaurants, offices, hundreds of apartments as well. Raleigh Iron Works is the newest. It's right here along Atlantic Avenue. Now, right now, none of the developments are connected by sidewalks or crosswalks, and 4 lanes of traffic divide them. WRAL's Matt Tallhelm shows us the safety concerns for pedestrians to get around.
It's painful, very inconvenient.
A cast covers Leslie Adams' broken arm from a fall.
My pants got caught on a bolt on the guardrail.
On a walk along Atlantic Avenue that became a treacherous trek.
She had to climb back over the guardrail again to go down the dirt because there was no more sidewalk.
All to get a sandwich from a shop in the new Ironworks development.
Ironworks is kind of like an island. They haven't made access to get there.
Ironworks is the newest development to transform an old industrial building in this part of Raleigh. Its website even sells it as a new walkable district. But to walk from Ironworks to Dock 1053 just across the street, you'll run into a guardrail blocking the corner with no crosswalk in either direction. From the other side, it involves a careful crawl downhill, where again, you won't find a sidewalk or crosswalk.
It's definitely a car-dependent development as it is right now.
Raleigh Planning Commissioner Dwight Otwell says the city does not require new pedestrian infrastructure when an existing site like Ironworks is redeveloped.
And I really like what they've done there. I wish that they had been willing to work a little bit harder to improve that intersection in particular.
The developer tells WRAL there are plans to build a pedestrian bridge across Atlantic Avenue, but costs have increased significantly. In a statement, Grubb Ventures says, "We have always been and will continue to be supportive of any traffic calming and pedestrian safety initiatives proposed along the entire Atlantic Ave corridor."
You see there's strollers and moms and dads everywhere walking and kids with bikes, and there just needs to be a safe way to get from one place to another.
The city tells me it is aware of the challenges at this intersection and is assessing the conditions. Matt Tallhelm, WRAL News, Raleigh.
Raleigh is updating its bike and pedestrian plans right now, and there will be opportunities for the public to get involved to help prioritize places you want to see safety improvements.
So tonight we are taking a closer look at a bill that would make it illegal to wear a mask in public in our state. Coming up in a live interview, we're going to talk about the legality of this legislation and the problems it could pose in court. Plus, a record-breaking sea turtle released off our coast. How many of them are back in the wild after being nursed back to health. We have told you about a bill making its way through the North Carolina General Assembly, making it a crime to wear a mask in public. It's aimed at stopping protesters from wearing them. Many were masked up during the recent protests that we saw on UNC's campus. Now, this legislation has no exemptions allowed for health and safety, which begs a question, is this legal? Joining us here to take a closer look, Tara Muller. She is a policy attorney with Disability Rights North Carolina. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Happy to be here.
Can we talk about just the general legality of this and maybe some of the hurdles that might be in the way?
Sure. We are concerned at Disability Rights North Carolina that the effect of this law will be to discriminate against people with disabilities who choose to take the step to protect their own safety by wearing a mask, as the bill is currently written. And we are hopeful that the bill will get changed. It's not law yet. Hopefully it will get changed to make it more safe and healthy for people to get out and use the masks.
Let's say they put in some type of exemption for people who need a mask. Well, who's to determine that? There's not really a two sides to that coin. There could be a variety of reasons why somebody could be wearing a mask.
That's
they
exactly
need a doctor's note, right?
Right, and that's exactly the problem that we get into here. You know, we don't think that the bill sponsor had any discriminatory intent, right? We think that there may be people who are wearing masks for the sole reason of disguising their identity so that they can commit crimes and get away with it. Sure. And so there needs to be a balance there. There needs to be a way to outlaw that type of illegal activity, but also at the same time protect the people who legitimately need to wear masks for their own health and safety.
It was the case prior to COVID where this was already in effect. Right, so this rule already existed, that in North Carolina, I think it dates back to the Ku Klux Klan. You weren't allowed to wear a mask in the state. And then COVID changed that because they needed people to be able to wear these masks and go out and about. Does that precedent set, that time where it was illegal, does that kind of help the case for masks to be reinstated or this rule against them?
Yeah, that's a good point, and that certainly we've heard a lot about that this week. The people who have reached out to us at Disability Rights North Carolina from all over the state, and we've heard from lots of folks who are concerned about their own health and safety and ability to get out in the world, have told us that they never knew that this was a law before COVID. We know that the world has changed drastically since COVID. We all get our news more quickly than we ever did before. People are more aware of the law changes when they come about. And we also, as a culture have changed in terms of folks who have chosen to use masks to protect their own safety who maybe never did before. I know I never saw somebody wear a mask before COVID.
When it comes to enforcement, our reporter Laura Leslie, I think, talked to you a little bit earlier, and some of the discussions were around policing and how they would even interact with somebody who might be breaking this rule if it were to pass.
Yeah, and that's a tough question to answer. We just don't know how this will work in real life if it comes to be and the bill's not changed. We expect that law enforcement officers will not have the time or the capacity to get into each individual situation and determine if it's an ADA violation, right, a violation of somebody's disability rights, or if people are wearing masks for other reasons. And so our concern is that they'll get arrested and then they'll have to go through the court system. And we expect that they will ultimately prevail at the end of the day once they explain that they're wearing their mask for health and safety reasons. Right. But they'll be left with a criminal record. Right? A misdemeanor, class 1 misdemeanor, which is one of the most serious of the misdemeanors.
All right, Tara, thank you so much. We'll be checking back in with you because I have a feeling we'll be talking about this again. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely fascinating story. Look at this beautiful, beautiful live look from Beaufort tonight. Just a gorgeous sunset. Wouldn't it be nice to be one of the folks just out on the water, sitting on the boat, enjoying a nice, beverage maybe? Well, state officials are increasing patrols and enforcement on the water. They want to reduce drunk boating. The North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission's annual On the Road, On the Water, Don't Drink and Drive campaign kicked off today. It's centered around the two busiest summer holiday weekends, Memorial Day and Labor Day. Officers will conduct sobriety checkpoints and raise awareness to deter drunk driving and drunk boating. Let's send things over to meteorologist Kat Campbell. Kat, you've got a gorgeous sunset there too. Is that White Lake?
It is. It's the Grand Regal here at White Lake, and there's actually a fisherman over here, right over here. Wish I was sitting out on these docks. It's a beautiful day outside. We got to enjoy sunshine. We got a break from the rain chances, and it's not going to last all the way into the weekend. So hopefully you're able to get outside and enjoy a little bit of today. The first half of the day tomorrow is going to be dry. So if you want to head to the playground with your family, 8 a.m. it's 64, 10 a.m. 72, 78 partly cloudy at noon, looking good through lunchtime tomorrow. It's just an isolated storm chance early in the afternoon, but by tomorrow evening into tomorrow night, that's going to be our best chance of storms. But those are going to be hit or miss. It's not going to be a washout by any means any day this weekend. Tomorrow, I think rain chances actually may end up peaking 8, 9, 10 o'clock tomorrow night and even through about midnight. So we'll keep an eye on the storm chances for you tomorrow. But it's as this system gets closer to us that we start to see these waves of more widespread rain move in over the weekend. Let's take a look at the high resolution model data. For tomorrow, we're likely to be dry, as I mentioned, through lunchtime, just a couple of pop-up showers and storms for the evening commute. And then we'll see rain chances grow tomorrow evening and into tomorrow night. Here's midnight tomorrow night. We could have that round of rain around even in our northeastern counties early Saturday morning. With this front draped across the area Saturday, that will act as a focus point for these showers and storms to form, and any waves of rain are likely to kind of track along this front, almost like it's a highway. Right now, Futurecast shows that wave of rain, the band of rain moving through between about 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Check in with meteorologist Mike Mays tonight at 10 and 11. He'll have an update on Saturday's rain timeline. But it looks like we're going to see a decent amount of rain over the next 5 days. We're looking at 1 inch to 1.5 inches, perhaps up to 2 inches in some areas. So this is going to be a pretty widespread round of rain for us. Luckily, there will be breaks. For tonight, low temperatures are in the low to mid 60s, 58 though in Roxborough for the low. Feeling pretty comfortable out there tonight. Tomorrow, just get your plans in early in the day. It's after dinner time that we've got the better chance of rain and storms. For the weekend, have an indoor backup plan and have your WRAL weather app on hand. That way you can check in on the dual Doppler 5000 radar before you head out to those outdoor plans. Next week, we've got some clouds that stick with us early in the week, but by the middle of the week, we're going to be heating back up. Highs likely to climb back into the mid 80s, at least the mid 80s.
Wow. Okay, Kat, thank you.
Another big showing of support for our local law enforcement officers on National Police Week. Who's behind the gesture? Coming up. So maybe you noticed some new billboards around Raleigh this week.
They are all along I-440, thanking our city's officers during National Police Week. The Raleigh Police Department Foundation is responsible for the messages. RPD says it's grateful for the support and recognition of its officers.
I like it. Disney's The Lion King opens tonight at DPAC. Iconic. So this Tony Award-winning Broadway show is going to run for 4 weeks in Durham.
It's amazing. The stage production is an adaptation of the 1994 animated feature film. The Lion King will play Tuesdays through Sundays until June 9th. For more information and tickets, check it out at dpacnc.com. I love the music so much. More than 24 injured sea turtles are now back in the wild off our coast.
His little face.
Oh, do you see the little face there? After a record-breaking release today.
So hundreds of people flocked to Surf City. They wanted to see this in person. Volunteers with the Karen Beasley Turtle Rehabilitation Center helped 27 sea turtles make their way back to the ocean. All of them suffered some type of injury in their life and had to be nursed back to health, and they are looking good.
Oh, so sweet. And good on all of those people who did that and took good care of them. Let's leave you now with this beautiful shot behind us of Dix Park. After a couple of unsettled days, intense days rain-wise, this is nice to see.
Well, we got some rain coming back, too.
Thanks for making WRAL your choice for local news.
I just kind of rained on the parade there, didn't I? You were talking about the nice weather.
I know.
I'm like, it's
Why'd you do that?
back.
Let's just say go Canes. Game 6, baby. Let's do this.
Send them a little luck. Hey, we'll see you back here, hopefully talking about a win a little later tonight. Fox 50 at 10 o'clock and on WRAL at 11. Have a good night.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.